Way too close. Oh, it's just a little. Mm, um, oh, what's up, y'all? What is going on, chat? Chickadee chat, I'm back. Okay, now I can see better. What's up, chat? Oh, hey, Tea Time Beauty. How you doing? I'm watching you on my TV too. Oh my God, how you doing today? Thank you for getting that daily Courtney. What's going on, y'all? You know, I wasn't feeling too good. I was in like a peaky mood, but I'm trying to break it. You know what I mean? You know, you live in your line. I'm in one of those phases in life. I had a really productive day. Made me shift to rest after work. Oh, well, that's really good. Productive day is always good. My nails red tonight. Okay. I miss getting my nails done. I used to get my nails done like every 3 weeks for a whole year, but then I had to stop because the nails was like growing together and it kind of creeped me out. But I really was pampering myself. Like people should be pampered. I really should be doing that. But I'm lacking right now, guys. I'm lacking right now. I'm not treating myself like a cheapest at all. It's been a minute since I had a mani pedi. It's bad. What color would you get? See, listen, I'm a design girly. I be getting all kinds of designs. I even had this like nail page because I was getting my nails done so much. I started like a nail page on YouTube, Dr. Sean's Nails. So me, I like design. I would get bold colors. So since it's like springtime, I would probably get some maybe like a pastel with white. I don't know. I go to Pinterest. They have the best nail designs ever. Yeah, that would be me. Okay, what is this? What is we listening to? Yes, that TT Kanye T. That was my day. My day was rough, man. My day was rough. It was rough. I kind of had a headache all day. But I'm live now because I was feeling a little sad. So I said, let me just live live. I don't got all this type of, you know what I mean? My day was kind of rough. It was productive, of course. I did dentistry, of course, but you know, it's just always it's always a journey. You know, we're dealing with life, family, love, all of that wrapped in one. So my day was crazy. You know. But you know what? I'm a soldier. That's why I'm here. Because Sometimes we are diamonds and the real. I feel like I'm a diamond. It's like I can should be not stopping until I need to. I'm sorry to hear that you deal with video. Replays, okay. You know, I always wonder, like, dang, is this like reaching somebody? Yeah, I be feeling like I'm in the shadow of silence sometimes, especially when you stated about how family or friends not support you, but your tribe will. Facts. And that's why I'm here. I have to find my tribe because I don't have that right now. You know? And I don't know. I don't know. I just got to keep going. That's what I feel. I have to be consistent because regardless for me staying connected to the tribe. But sometimes I have to take a break, doing street friends, not sometimes a lot of keep myself sane, honestly, going live, it kind of, I don't know, just talk. It inspires me. I don't know if it inspires me to know that I inspire you. So we inspire each other. Your friends that you are saying what you have been doing. This Periscope, yes, I've been going live since Periscope. It used to be really lit back in the Periscope days, but now it's like all over. Yeah, I still haven't caught on to a trial with the live yet. So it'll happen. What's the rush? What's the rush when I can talk to wonderful people like people who me, loves me, people who always checking on me. Hayden, who checked in on me earlier. I think that's his name, Hayden. Yep, I love it here. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it because tonight, I really didn't even plan to talk about anything. I just want you guys to ask me some questions. My brain has been like, I don't know. I gotta cheer myself up for real. This is time to decolonize my mind. I know that's right. Oh my gosh. So you like the history. Sometimes I feel like I be going so deep and back, but you know, yes, we gotta decolonize our mind. I've been meaning to read something that's probably gonna take like an hour, and I don't know why I keep postponing it. But I think it's gonna hit this hour. Oh, oh. See, you helping me help you because now I know what I need to bring more information that you appreciate the breakdown. Because I got so many documents that I want to come and break down. My next, I was supposed to do the next one, but then Donna came out and started talking about reparations and trafficking. And I was like, that's the same thing I just read about. You know, the United States trafficking chattel is what they call it, and you know that's what they label melanated people in America. So that's the next document that I want to read. I will listen to your replays when it is hard to see or part of my routine. What? Tea time beauty? No way. What? Either encourage videos or educational. I get it all. What? See, this is what I'm talking about. When you find your tribe, you just don't know. You just don't know because that will be the confirmation that you need that, hey, doc, don't you dare give up. Listen, don't you dare. Man, that is so awesome. You don't know how much I needed to hear that. Because some days I be needing to hear positive stuff too. You know? Like I said, a lot of family and friends watch me, but they don't engage with. You know, they'll watch me or they'll scroll past me. And I guess it's just something about the people you know, they don't really see you. don't know. I don't know what it is. I stopped trying to figure it out. Yay, yes, all week. That is why you popped up on my TV. LOL. Yes, yes. That's why I popped up on your TV at the perfect time because I needed those positive words of affirmation right now. I really did. I really did, guys. Listen, I may be a distance. I may look like I have it all together, but I'm still trying to figure it out. But I just come live, and I'll be nervous to come live and talk and speak without having a tribe yet. I can't even say that because I gotta try. But I gotta try. We growing, and that's what it's about. Like just showing up and just putting it all out there. Not being afraid of being authentic and just loving on the people who love you. Unapologetically, might I add. Some people don't have some apologies when they look. They're gonna be like, I can love you, but only under this circumstance. I can love you, but only with this restriction. I can love you, but I can support you, but not in, you know, some people just don't love you unapologetically, man. They don't care about you. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I love Dr. Sean. I appreciate Dr. Sean. They're not gonna be like, they're not saying nothing unless I see it. You know what I mean? The best tribe with all sorts of skills, you can support each other. No limits. Facts. Facts. My nighttime dental routine. Thank you too. What? Yeah, see, our tribe, we can get the dentistry in, we get the history in. Me, I feel uncomfortable talking about history sometimes because I touch on things that most people are not going to touch on. Because it's like, ooh, talk about slavery, don't talk about these topics, but in my head, this is what I needed to unlock. Because I was in a deep sleep in the matrix, you know, falling for all of these things, and now I'm so aware. I'm so in tune with my spirit, and I know it's so much that I don't even know. See, this is when you know that you're elevating and you're growing and you're breaking generational curses when you realize it's some things that I know that I don't know. Actually, it's a lot of things I know that I don't know. So the only way for me to learn is to be open and realize, hey, I don't really know nothing really. That's why I'm always learning. And having a colonized mind, it tells you what to learn. It puts someone in charge of you. You either have a master or a supervisor. All these words, but you're kind of not in charge of yourself, especially not your mind. That's what colonization does. That's the whole purpose of it. Anytime you read any of those historical documents, no matter what time period it comes from, whether you want to document Jamestown there, Christopher Columbus, Amerigo Vespucci, all these different colonizers that came, the one thing that I can see that is universal across all the records is the evidence that they said that our people, the indigenous people over here, were Epicurus. We were free. We were happy. We didn't really have a lot of crime. We controlled our population. We were building. We were in the stage of we were building our land. We were in love with the sun, with, you know, moon cycles, nature. We loved going to the beach. I kind of remember that as a little girl, probably when it super died down, but we were fishing all the time. The confusion feels overwhelming sometimes. Everything is told in reverse. Facts. Everything has been told in reverse. And people can see that easily because I have people all the time like, oh, you don't celebrate. Oh, you don't, it's not that. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I read too much. I already know the quote. I was maybe you unfit to be a slave. When you read too much, I can't even say you read too much. Like, when you read, we'll say, the things that you don't learn about your brain, you can never unsee it. The things that I read when I was reading Christopher Columbus, it felt like he came from the grave and stabbed me in my stomach. I shouldn't have probably said that. You know what I mean? But it seemed like he rose and just was talking so foul, like, oh, these people gonna be easy to control. These people don't know nothing about hate and harm. They're gonna be easy to colonize. They're gonna be easy to hand out. Anything was right. I'm just like, I love TikTok shop. Listen, I have a stay off of TikTok shop. And honestly, the last two things I ordered off of TikTok shop, one of those companies, I don't know which one it is, but they left it at the wrong address. I still haven't got my money back. So that's the only thing. The delivery companies, sometimes they will leave your stuff at the wrong address. But I love TikTok shop. A lot of things, these glasses from TikTok shop. This scarf is from TikTok shop. Lip stick is from TikTok shop. This web form is from TikTok shop. This phone is from TikTok shop. This keyboard is from TikTok shop. My mouse is from TikTok shop. Yeah, it's chair. TikTok shop. Oh my god! Listen, these lights in the background. TikTok shop. Purple. I love it. I have to say all of TikTok shop. I be in there way too much. Way too much. Okay, likes. Yeah, I'm trying to do a little something. If y'all could have seen my first setup, it was tall, it was dark, but I started. And I would be on live, like playing solitaire by myself. Talk about humble beginnings, y'all. Humble beginnings, you know. But like I said, all those old documents that we've been reading, they kind of tell the colonizers' mindset. They were always trying to, what they said was break your spirit. So they enforced all the oppression, all the laws, all this stuff to break our spirit. And this is from back in the 1400s. This is their words. Hey, we have to break their spirit. You know, 'cause obviously our spirit was floating so high, they didn't understand it. It was all about war. It was all about evil. Even now, you can see that it's pretty much all about war. They just want to break people's spirit. You can see that when their president, you know, the president of the United States, their president, not my president. Spiritually, definitely not. Maybe on paper, it shows that no, he's not my president. I represent nothing I stand for. This guy is delusional. Not mine either. No, ain't no way. No. You know they told all of the history in reverse, and it's not that they told it in reverse; they're still telling it in reverse. When you see people who are immigrants, clearly, I don't even like to say his name. DT, we're gonna call him. Even his grandparents and parents are immigrants. But this is the psychosis of it all, the reversal of it all. You're an immigrant over here threatening other people, talking about we invented everything. You mean my ancestors invented everything? So you only want to highlight us when you talk about the things that we contributed to this. When it comes to fairness, when you're talking about $1.5 trillion, it has nothing to do. That could be paying people back. But that's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. Never going to pay us back. Never, ever, ever. If they got anything to do with it before they pay us back, we will go. Well, they will go. We won't go broke. But spiritually, we could never go broke. Right now, we might be a little bit bankrupt spiritually, only because of colonization, only because the history is still being told to the kids in reverse. Think about how many young people are going to school tomorrow, taking a history class in high school and learning that Christopher Columbus discovered America. This is still being taught by colonizers. It's still being taught. It's still being forced down the youth's throat. They're not talking about financial literacy. They're not talking about anything to help the young people today. They're not talking about trades. They're teaching them, hey, we're going to teach you this pseudo knowledge so you will forever be enslaved in the mind, not free. That's why my mind became free probably 2 or 3 years ago, where I did my genealogy, you know. And that's what really freed me because I was hearing all this stuff. I think it impacts mental health, even though they aren't learning substance. Yeah, they know they're not learning substance, especially nowadays that they're AI, but even AI has been colonized to a certain extent. You really gotta know before you ask AI. Like I tell AI, hey, I'm not lying, spitting out common truth. Then it'll be like, okay, well, since you do know the truth, let me tell you. It's not just going to tell you the truth. I saw somebody write that today on YouTube. AI's first answer is really not the right answer. Hold on. I have to put it on. What we're listening to. Hold on. What was that? That is not on my list to play. I'm so lost. But yeah, in the day of AI, the youth, I don't know. There we go. Now the music's back. So they trick kids to worship holidays, all these different things. Confusion can turn into anger and depression. Facts. Facts. That is a big fact. Even for the YT kids who are coming out learning that they're thinking that they're better, they're this, they're learning YT supremacy at home. They're learning it at school. So when they get out, what happens to them when they learn the truth? I'm learning myself to find myself when doubt tries to set in. These systems are going to confuse. Facts. We just did a live earlier about distractions, about all the propaganda, the distractions. Even myself, I found myself distracted for the past week, really, focusing on politics and Trump because I seen it on my timeline. And normally that's not something I even watch. I don't watch. I don't watch it if I can, but lately I've been like glimpsing in like this can't be true. He's saying the most outlandish things to get attention. Attention is the new currency. So you think that, oh God, he can do this. He just playing all along. And I realized that today at 6:32 when he called off the attack on Iran after he made this big crazy rant getting attention, distracting our minds from what's really going on. And I said, oh my God, he got me locked into propaganda. I can't. I can't. I felt like, oh my goodness, this man was he was never gonna clock it. Clock it. He was never gonna do nothing, y'all. Uh, he was never gonna do crap. There we go. He said about that life. That's why I was like, I don't know they not gonna go over here. What? I just been so like confused. Like, first of all, I'm not paying attention, but then when I see people coming on YouTube, oh, I read this dropping this cartoon, I'm like, what? It's baffling. It's like this is a joke. Donald Trump won $1.5 trillion for war. It's like, and I said, he's like, where's the scope? Get it out of my mouth. Where is the scope? I do not. Oh, God. But with the youth, the mental health crisis is severe. Whenever you don't know who you are, I know when I was in a pseudo identity, born into this pseudo identity, raised into this pseudo identity, because everybody is trapped into this generational curse. When I was growing up, I felt like this was the best identity to have. It encourages detachment, and that is a trauma response. Wow. Exactly. Wow, that's a big statement. Having this pseudo identity encourages detachment. Really encourages detachment from the spirit, which can technically be called breaking your spirit. That is a trauma response. You have to disconnect from who you are and thinking that you're from somewhere else. It's psychosis. And the word that they used when I was reading the documents from history was they want you to get amnesia about who you are. That is a cycle repeating itself. Facts. They want you to get amnesia and start to be on their timeline, their traditions, their religions, their holidays. That's why they're federal holidays. They're colonizers' federal holidays. They were celebrating the war. They're celebrating their old traditions from when they came over here on the boat. It's like Easter. I did a research on Easter on Sunday, and I didn't know much about it. So See me, I'm not biased when it comes to research. At Florida State University, when I was a student, I took religion class. I was trying to figure out about myself. And I thought, oh, this would be an interesting class. But it didn't really teach me about who I was. I took sociology, I took anthropology, I took all these different classes because I was trying to find myself. But how can you expect a colonizer, the enemy, to tell you who you are? That's the first rule of being us, American. It's never let the enemy tell us who we are. But yet and still we send our kids to school to be indoctrinated every day, to be colonized every day because why we have to go to work. We got the bills. You know, a lot of things going on behind the scenes to make people have to work so hard. They don't want us to be happy. They want to embrace the Epicurean lifestyle, embrace the spirit as the goal. But when you remember the number one rule of decolonizing your mind, number one rule is never let the enemy tell you who you are. You can always go and read who you are, learn who you are. A profound moment in my life is the genealogy moment. If you can hear this history all day, when until you tie yourself to the history, you see it on that paper, the census record comes like, oh my, it clicks like, I'm really from here. My ancestors' records are older than their government. They click on a whole other level, like, no way. And then there's no way you can deny it. All these holidays back to back, distraction. Yes, we prepare to plant seeds instead of consuming more. Yes, yes, yes. All these holidays back to back to back, back to back to back. It's all about money. Easter had nothing to do with America. I was looking up Easter on Sunday, and it was talking about it came from the fertility god, Istor. Her name is spelled Eostre. They changed it when they came over here to Easter. She was a fertility god. A white people had nothing to do with us, but we celebrated in the married Indian Legion home. The ones who don't know who they are, they have nothing to do with us. Go look up the goddess they call her Esoter. E E store. O store. I don't know how to say it for real. But it's all a distraction. E store. It says that she was a German goddess. So we celebrating a German goddess holiday. German now. It's like what? So these holidays are our own. But we've been raised on them. They put the price tag on it. They add the Easter egg to it. But the goddess, I think, was she's supposed to be different eggs. I don't know. They mix like three things all into one. I almost finished your replay live on it. Oh yeah, yeah. She was a pagan origin of Easter, German goddess Oster. And then where did they get the Easter basket from? That's another question. So back in Germany, it's either Germany or those countries. They would put out hay or grass, and they would tell their kids that the bunny is coming to lay eggs, and bunnies don't lay eggs like the hares just lay eggs. So it's kind of like the Christmas gift. Oh, Santa is coming to bring you gifts. You psyching these kids out, you're lying to them. You're not even telling them who they are. You making them believe in a white thing. Santa Claus, off the lane, Easter, making them believe in German goddess. They changed the name. You don't even know it. And she's actually holding the bunny. Bunny gonna lay eggs. Go look it up. Eostr. And it's things like that where we know we're being colonized. And I thank you for watching that video. I really appreciate it. You're like one of my number one supporters, man. I remember I watched one of his interviews and he was like, it was just that. He was like, I had that muscle support. I got a couple sad, but true. This is someone else's tradition. Yes, hey, yes. And I was like, "Dang, it's like one or two people. That's all you need to keep the fire burning, man." You know, I appreciate you so much. It's someone else's tradition, guys. All these things are someone else's tradition. It's all fault that people started to copy them, the neighbors, and then the whole country does it. But guess what? It's just a distraction. That's it. You don't really know what it means. You don't care what it means. You know that it's cute. The kids get to hunt for Easter eggs just like they do in Germany. And they don't even know what it means. Go hard for their traditions too. Yes, go super hard. I was the little girl where we would get dressed up in Easter clothes, go to church, and the Easter egg hunt was my favorite thing. I'm like, wait a minute, that's nothing to do with American Indians. It has something to do with German people, colonizers, the same people who colonized us today. The main time we got family time too. Yes. So they made it to where the federal holidays is the only time you really get off. Only time the family really get together is for a colonizer's holiday. It's never on your time. Back in those days, we were banned. It was gathered in a group of six or more. You could go to jail. You could be in prison for that. Melanated gathering in six or more. Meanwhile, they got the KKK. They got all these other groups getting together. You know what I mean? But six or more, that was a slave code. If you seen somebody six or more, they had the right to bring it up. They had to supervise the church. You had to have your labor paperwork. You had to have a job. These are the things that's mind boggling to me, but it translates to today. You kind of have to have a job. That started back then. We were farmers on the land. We owned this land. That's what sovereignty means. That's what they will not label us what we truly are, according to what happened in history. In history, we are POW. But according to the Vatican, and when they came over here with those charters, the Virginia Charter, the Plymouth Charter, all these charters, they said, hey, when you go over there, you're going to have chattel. And that's why it was crazy. Tomorrow, I just have to prepare my brain to read it because it's like from the 1600s. And it's not that long, but they're very wordy. They say a lot of those things over and over again. And I couldn't see that many things, but I like to see the whole thing, break it down. If you don't understand the whole thing, you can't understand it. But they were saying that in the 1600s, before they even came over here, before they turned into a government, they were saying, hey, when you go over there, make sure you are, they use the word trafficking. That's the thing. That's why Ghana pointed it out. They used it. They were proud to use these words. Trafficking, chattel. But they were talking about our ancestors. We will need to break that down. Oh yeah, I'm gonna break that down tomorrow. I'm gonna break it down because that really shocked me. It's like, wow, we really don't read. They tell us what they do. We really don't read. And you hear this word all the time. And honestly, I never even looked up this word until right now. Even though I was reading that document and I know that they say chattel slavery, I know that I've seen this word in history. I know that I've seen it in this document of 1606 and they talk about cattle and trafficking and they talk about plantations, colonization, all these things that are from the what is it, King James the First, 1606. And then they came a year later and did Jamestown, but then he talked about chattel. You got the right to go over here and set laws and all this stuff. I'm like, this is bananas. But chattel, guess what it means? Chattel. Chattel. You'll see it in the story document. The United States loves to say, oh, chattel slavery. They love to brag about this type of stuff. They feel like oppression. They don't really want to call you a POW. That's the word. They're going to make you something that they own before they even knew you. They own you. From the Vatican, they own you. You were not a white male Christian prince, according to the Vatican, according to the Catholic Church. according to the royal crown, they call it. I don't know who can be royal, claiming that you have control over people's souls. And it sounds crazy. It sounds divine. But this is their words, not mine. You feel me? So shadow means, in general definition, a personal possession. A personal possession. Other synonyms for shadow is asset, thing, article. They thought we were things, not people, things that they own. A personal possession, property, worldly good. Now it's crazy that chattel is a personal possession because it's kind of like they actually possess you to believe that you are their personal possession. Like now, paying taxes to immigrant government who saying that they're American, but you're from Africa, hold in reverse. Possession, the state of having, owning, or controlling something. So you are the personal thing that they control. Don't we feel like that today? Like, man, you still be in control. It's just no change. You still be in control. Feel like locked in prison with no chains, no bars, but you're still there. Your mind is there. That's what it feels like to be calm out. You're in the prison. Nothing holding you here. You can't. You're stuck because you belong to someone in the mind. You belong to the government in the mind. That's what they would come out with distractions. They would come out with propaganda. They would start wars. They would spread pseudo history. They got to colonize your peas every day to make sure they're not on the internet learning real history. They got to buy TikTok for billions of dollars. Have to do the most to get you to realize who you are. Because once you realize who you are, it's a wrap. You don't have to go back to sleep after realizing who you are. That's why Frederick Douglass, he didn't start reading until he was 12 years old because he was oppressed. He's one of the most inspirational people I've ever known. He prohibited from acquiring knowledge because the slave owner said, no, we can't. He told his wife, we can't teach him his ABCs. I won't be able to control him. And he realized then that knowledge will make you. That's one of the most strongest quotes I've ever read in my life. Sometimes it just takes a couple of words for your spirit to unlock. It just takes a couple of words for you to just like, that just unlock another level in me. And I love that another little piece of the puzzle, of this big old puzzle we're trying to put together. It's a big puzzle. There's been a lot of atrocities done. So much has been written by colonized mindsets from the Vatican. So much has been written about control. You know? I was reading about 4 books every other week at 12 years old, especially during the summer. Imagine that's amazing. 4 books every week, every other week. Like most kids aren't doing that anymore. So I know you're a genius. But imagine when Frederick Douglass was growing up, that was illegal. Boy, if you got caught with a book, guys, you could be unalive for that. The slave patrol, the slave raiders, whatever you want to call them, the police back then, that was a slave code. You could be unalive for having a. I mean, anything that we did, remember, anything that gave us joy, like reading, writing, creating, being with our family, they made it illegal. So a lot of people come over here, oh, y'all don't have culture, y'all do it. They the generational curses came from that. And you can't read. Another example of history repeating itself with book bans. They ban the books to hopefully in your mind, oh, I can't read because they ban it. What? You don't tell me what to read and what to. That's why I say issue down. People are coming out, y'all have been teaching through history and people finding the true treasures because back then they had to write down their atrocities because that's the only way they can take over. Is if we write atrocities down. Now we control these people. They're our possession. They're our chattel. These words mean something. Chattel means their personal possession. They're taking possession over you. Literally. If that's not demonic, I don't know what is. The thing that God told you to possess another person. It's kind of crazy. But that's why I'm hearing all this information. It will come at me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, whoa, it's changing my whole identity of everything I believe. I felt so stupid when they finally quit. Oh my goodness, I can't believe the most simplest thing that happened. I'm from right here in America. It's like that's why people having a identity crisis. They're shocked because it's unbelievable that someone could lie that much, but actually write all their lives down like a piece of like puzzle pieces. All you gotta do is find the puzzle. Some people, oh, no, you just have to read and know who you are. Okay. So the number one thing we said was never let the enemy tell you who you are. Right? Never let them tell you who you are. Number two thing we said after never let the enemy tell you who you are, you gotta know your own genealogy. People don't try to tell you where you from all day and night. All day and night they're gonna be, well, you're from here, but when you got that genealogy, you got paperwork to know who you are, not a soul on the earth can tell you who you are. I don't understand how people do that. I can't look at someone and be like, oh, they're from here just from the color of their melanin. Y'all know what melanin is? Melanin is all over this earth. Don't try to put melanin on one place of the earth just because everything else can be all over the earth. The sun is everywhere, melanin is everywhere. Melanin is just like chlorophyll in the plant, it's everywhere. You don't understand chlorophyll, just like they don't understand. Well, they understand chlorophyll, but not melanin. They've been trying to do nature melanin for the longest. If everybody could have a defense system like what we have, everybody would have this defense system. But when someone doesn't have a defense system, you have to have a defense system and all of that. Now, we have a fact, very beautiful people. Very beautiful people. Christopher Columbus said, he said, wow, these people are different from the people from the Canary Islands. You don't know where the Canary Islands are. That's the west of Africa. So he knew how these people look. They colonized the Canary Islands, Columbus, Spain, all those people. They colonized those. But what I'm saying is they look different. He said they are so handsome. He called everybody handsome in his letter. But I was like, wow, they just tell all of this information and up to us to find it and read it and to know what these words mean. You know what we being looked at as shadow. Mhm. And when they invented money, they turned that physical possession, those slave possessions, into, you know, you gotta go to work. And then they said you can only have a cooking job. You find a lot of underserved communities have these jobs, cooking jobs. And some people might just love to cook. That's different. Talking about just being pushed into that. You'll find because this is the only jobs that allow it. Jobs that you couldn't read at. Yeah. It only allows you to have a job you couldn't even read. Cooking, housekeeping, what's the last one? CNA, the nurse. Both of my grandparents are CNAs, you know, very good CNAs, but they worked so hard and they probably did the hardest work of the job, you know, because that's what they pushed them to do. That was the only thing that you could really be. So when I sit up here and I'm a doctor, people look at me all the time. Older people, I've never seen not only a female melanated doctor, and I don't want to call myself black, but you know, they have never seen a black doctor. They just they don't know about American Indian. They just like, oh, you know what I mean? And then say, I never seen a female. This is elderly people because back then this was unheard of. Not only for you to be a dentist, but a woman. Oh, they're not having it. So we break barriers that they try to oppress us out of. Dentistry is one of those careers where it's fully dominated by white people. They only gave us two, only two. We only have Howard and McCary. And I went to one of those. A lot of the people who I know in my hometown who are dentists because before, when I was growing up in Tallahassee, Florida, and I was this young student at Florida State University, I couldn't go find no melanated doctor to shadow. I had to go and shadow doctor. So I searched, and I finally found one who looked like me. And I had to beg him to shadow me. The dentist, they're so busy, you really gotta like year, I was like trying to be a doctor. So I'm like, dang. But it wasn't. Now the ones who are in my hometown, not a big city, it's probably about 10 to 15 minutes doctors there. Most of them went to one Harry, Howard. Very few went anywhere else. So that would tell you about if you limit the opportunity for community, then you limit the things that they can do. Try to lock the kids out of becoming successful. That's what they do. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I mean, melanated dental schools there are versus YT dental schools. In the entire United States, it's gonna tell you already the inequality that is at every level, every single level. Okay, so out of the total, I think there's more than 60. I don't think. I think this number is what is it? So there's 73 accredited dental schools. 73 now, and they have a couple more openings. There's going to be 80 dental schools, and only two of them are melanated dental schools. Only two. Florida A&M University, FAMU in Tallahassee was about to get a dental school. I was getting ready to become a dental student, but they shut it down. Do you know what that would have done? Tallahassee, Florida A&M University have a dental school? What? Oh, three schools? Oh no! In the state of Florida, melanated not have. They shut it down, guys. They shut it down. So two schools out of 73 schools, YT, and that's how they do it. That's what Cosmo does to a community. It prevents you from growing. It prevents you from selling. It prevents you from just I don't know. It makes it so much harder. So our ancestors had it really hard. They couldn't. They couldn't write, and they got caught writing and reading. That was breaking the law. These psychotic people thought that these were laws that they were. They thought anything that you was doing that made you happy, that didn't break your spirit, they called it a law. You know, does that make people hate you limiting access? Facts, facts, facts. That definitely makes them gatekeep and limit access so people like me from the hood don't get in. Sean was never supposed to in. But see, they underestimate people from the hood because I don't know what I just had to get in. I had to keep trying. Somebody has to get in for the hood. No legacy, no parent doctors, nobody backing. It's just like I had a passion. Got to get in, but they gatekeep it from us because it's one of those careers where they don't want us in it. It has to be gatekeep, gatekept. It's only 3%. 3% of dental schools made for us. 3%. If we are anything, we are motivated by the spirit. Facts. Facts. We definitely are. We're motivated by the spirit heavily. You know, I like when they say, "Hey, I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams." Because, like I said, I came from grandparents who were CNA. They worked hard to get me where I am now because I didn't have my mom and dad, and then with so much going on, where life was rocky still, custody battles. But either way, I saw something like, "Dang, I know that I can do more." My mom told me, "Hey, you're going to be a doctor." And maybe she hadn't motivated me then. I wouldn't have had that thought. So that's why you have to motivate your kids, not let them learn all the pseudo history, even though I live a life full of pseudo history knowledge. You know, the genealogy is really what changed it for me. Really like made me like, oh my God. When you see your grandparents and your great great grandparents, and you see their names, and you see where they were living, you see your cousins' names, it just do something to your spirit. it's like, oh, because I think all the time, like, well, this is something you should teach elementary schools how to track their parents and grandparents. The reason why they got to track their presidents versus your grandparents. I want you to know, hey, in the beginning, there was us. In the beginning, there was President George George Washington. We don't want you to know about your grandparents living at that time, how we was oppressing them, how we had all these codes for them. We don't want you to know about that. What we want you to know is that George Washington was a founding father, a slave owner who had 300 plus enslaved people. He inherited from his father. He had 11 inherited from his father. He got some from his wife Martha. From her, he got some from her. This is like, what is this? You passing around, you inheriting people, calling them cattle, something you possess. It's evil, guys. It's just so evil how they do us. You know, that's why even though some days it is too much, like you said earlier, some days it's like too much. The weight is heavy. You know, learning all this stuff it gets overwhelming, it's confusing. So that's why sometimes I take time off learning. Like, overwhelmed. Like everyone's talking about it, everyone's teaching it, but what happens? And I know we can't like predict the future on what happens. A lot of things are happening. People are waking up. People are finding their tribes. A lot of people now they're using tribes together, or they're married to other tribes together. But when you like don't have a tribe, you like, oh, you breaking into new territory because everybody don't care to know. A lot of the youth don't want to know. They just want to know the latest song, the latest Jordan, the latest this, all of the distraction. You don't realize until you get older, they all this stuff is a distraction. Everything is a distraction. Especially nowadays. Everything. You know? So that's why we have to talk about representation in industry, why it's so low. Why kids don't want to be doctors. Every day it's just like, oh, we want to be doctors. Like it don't even hit the same now with internet, AI, other things, content creation, but you still need dentists. Guess what? It's only 3% of schools for us. You better know the most schools getting filled up. You still need to have dentists for us. You don't know how many patients complain about being dentists. They come from that 97%. Imagine if it was 0%. Now you got a toothache and you got to go to someone who might be a package dentist on the low. You see those on TikTok. And I see it in my own two eyes, guys. My second job as a doctor, there was the Buddhist stand. Now they call it Indian. You call them Indians now. They're not. They're Buddhist people. But he was one of those dentists, and he was so mean. He took Medicaid, so of course he took all insurances. So we had all different people, underserved people. It was like a speed trap. He wanted to hire me to do all his law and stuff, and I didn't mind it because I was a new dentist, but he wasn't trying to teach me. I was basically just a worker, you know. And I'm next to him on the other side of the treatment room, and he's yelling, "Open wide!" and "Shut up!" And I'm just like, "What? They do this in dentistry?" And you hear these horror stories. This is why representation in dentistry is very important. How many patients have went to the dentist? You know, I had stories with my friend. She told me how the patient went to the dentist. She was a melanated assistant working for a YT doctor. And she says the patient said, "Hey, please don't stop. I'm scared." That's sad. And dentistry is supposed to be one of the careers where dentists are happy, smiling. No, this can be very mean. Very, very mean. Especially when it comes to underserved communities. Because they feel like they just gotta get this money. Medicaid ain't paying much. We gotta get you in now. They don't got time to be your friend. All about the money. All about the dollar. Let's say I didn't work for that guy. No, I can't. but they do exist. I have patients now in my own practice who literally walk in the door. They see the reviews. Like, okay, this is good for anxiety. I have patients who just know, okay, Dr. Fine is just still working on other parts of the business when it comes to anxiety, still treating you like care. I even did that in the offices where I had to see 4 or 5 people in an hour because that's just part of my character as a dentist. That's what those HBC schools teach you, how to be more than just about numbers, how to really care about people. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the other schools don't teach you that, but I know they teach you that. So you doing your own thing, and that's just something you did, but they don't play that. You can't even make it out of you. Yeah, that kind of mindset, you know. But some people bitter in their careers, they get angry, life beat them up, you make mistakes. Even me now, I could be so beat up about this every day. Some days I'm like, dang, it's stressing me out a lot. But I know that it's deeper than I go a little bit deeper than that. Spiritually, I know my purpose is deeper even in dentistry. And I didn't realize that until I got into my true identity. Now I don't just talk about teeth, I talk about healing your spirit. Not just healing the cavity, not just you can go to the dentist and brush and floss, make sure you fix your cavity, but it's all the healing the spirit because that was one piece of me that was so locked up and had me all kind of like mentally messed up, so religious, believing in a lot of things that I was raised on, and I had to go and read it and realize, oh my goodness, they really treat me out my spot. Spiritually, of course. They just broke my spirit without even having to touch me, say anything, or do anything. All they had to do was put me in the colonized school system, teach me about going to church, give me, Christian performance plan, like the Bible, in church, make sure you supervise the church. King James, we wrote the Bible for over here. They took slave out of the Bible over 100 times, changed it to servant. And I'm like, what the? You can't be serious. So these are the things I'm like, what? What? Constantine, the little ways we tend to ourselves every day. Yes, we have to tend to ourselves every single day. I probably don't do this change happens over time. Facts. Facts. And that's what I know. Change is gonna happen over time. And I feel like we like in a wrinkle in time. You know that movie, A Wrinkle in Time? It's like if time is this big, right? Our life is like a little dot somewhere in the middle, you know. So things change over time. And I'm hoping that I don't know. I don't know. I hope that this government like eventually tell the truth. I don't know. I should watch that movie. A Wrinkle in Time. I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't know if it's really based on that, but it's just basically talking about we're only like here for a brief moment. History goes so far back. That's why I go so far back because it ties like pieces of the puzzle together for me. I had to go back to 300. This is stuff I would never want to know in school. Like we were learning about Socrates, you have to learn this stuff here on this path. I'm not even. I'm just remembering this stuff for the test. I'm not even logged in. I'm like, I don't really care about all this stuff. You But I had to know it. You know what I mean? But now, when I go back and I read about Constantine and all these cool people, it just tied together with everything that is happening to us right now. The oppression. And the oppression is so loud. It's not only just oppression to us, the people who it was meant to oppress, it's oppressing the whole world. It's breaking the spirit of more than just us. It's like an infection. You know how you have a small community. This is what colonization is like. It's like this. It starts as a little colony, just like James, all that. It starts like a little colony of that No pun intended. If you don't fix the problem, and the colony just grows over time. One colony turned into 13, which turned into states. Now you got 50 colonies of bacteria. Right? So you don't fix that, it breaks down the bone. It can go inside the bone. Now you got a bone infection. Your tooth might be infected. It could be cavity, and you still don't fix it. Guess what happens? It continues to grow. And eventually, if you still don't fix it, you're gonna wake up with your face swollen. And if you still don't fix it, that colony eventually kills the host. It kills you. It can suffocate you because the bacteria has spread it so far. It's all in your throat now. You can't breathe. This has happened in real life. That's how colonization. It might be time for it to choke itself out. I probably should have said that why. This AI is summarizing everything I say. AI, don't summarize that, okay? But it's time for the colony to destroy itself. And I think that's what it's doing. Because it's so evil and you can't make bacteria good. Like bacteria in your mouth is so much in your mouth. But if you don't control it and brush and floss and keep it under control and get rid of the cavities, if you're not actively trying to get rid of it, just like you hate evil, righteous supremacy, it's going to overtake everything and it's going to unalive all your work because it was never built on a solid foundation. It's not built on a solid foundation. It's built on using other people for your foundation, making them labor while you sit back and benefit. Eventually, you kill what you built because it was not solid. I should have watched that movie. This empowers our minds, making it make sense for ourselves. Yes, we gotta make it make sense for ourselves. You have to. You really have to. That's why unlocking these codes, decolonizing the mind, reading those old documents, it continues to unlock the puzzle. I'm gonna read that document tomorrow. I think it unlocks the puzzle for me about the 1600s. I couldn't believe that. You know how they call the crown, like Queen Elizabeth people and all these people put queen names on it. You know, people sent orders over here to colonize this land and put people into chattel slavery. But they highlight them all over the world because they're so proud of the atrocious act that they've done for centuries, hundreds of years, just trying to colonize the world. I think in 330 CE, when Constantine was in charge, these, these I don't even know what you call them, these demonic people, who would say, I had only colonized about 30% of the world. Let's see. I think it was only 30% of the world. It's probably not going to talk me a hint. But these are the questions I have. Like, what part of the world was, how much was colonized? It says in the old world, which wasn't that old, you know, 306 to 337 AD, which was called the Roman Empire, only 20 to 25% of the world was colonized under Roman control. The Vatican, all the, not the whole world, not at all. But now they have colonized, the Europeans have colonized, it says 80 to 90% of the world. France, Spain, Britain. The entire continents were economically dominated. Yeah. 90% of the world is almost colonized. Just like I talked about this infection that turns into an abscess, because you think colonization is good, you think it's so good to control and oppress people forever, it's gonna, in the end, it's not gonna work. this bacteria is really out of control. So the timeline was from Constantine to 313 to the Vatican influence, the colonial expansion. It's crazy how religion, law, and empire start intertwining with each other. I think that's the part where people have an issue understanding history because they tie it to religion on purpose. Because guess what? Religion makes you obedient. So when you're not obedient, you feel bad. When you're not obedient to colonization, you feel bad. You don't do the Easter egg. You don't know it's the god of fertility. You feel bad. You know what I mean? You feel bad. But one thing when it comes to putting all the times in perspective, which is why I had to go back to 300, I mean 300 AD to the Edict of Milan. Look up the Edict of Milan, Edict of Milan. This is when Christianity became legal. Constantine made Christianity legal all over 1,000 years ago. He said, "Oh, we're gonna make it legal because there's too many gods." So the gods, all these gods that they had. Let's see how many gods they had. How many gods were? He said we can't have all these gods. We have to have some our word around the whole world. They believed in polytheism. It was normal back then. You probably heard of these gods. Constantine fully embraced Christianity, but Rome practiced polytheism. He couldn't control them when they had so many gods. So he said, well, you have to pick one god or use one religion, put it together. You got 13, what was it, 13 lists of different texts around that time, put it together and they created the Bible. Left out anything to do with the women. Left out Mary Magdalene because they didn't want any women influence them. He left out books like Enoch. He left out the books where Jesus actually went into the church, pushing over the tables. People don't know that because they left it out on purpose. Right? So back then, the major Roman gods were Jupiter, Mars. He was the war god. Venus, love, Apollo, Diana, Mercury. All of these came from Rome. They had gods from everywhere. So the number of gods that they got from everywhere, because as they were going and conquering and colonizing these different places, had different religions, they had different beliefs, they had different gods. And they said, we can't keep up. We have to do one thing so we can rule all over. So we see the colonization how it started 20 to 30%, and they got to 90% because they streamlined the religion to just focus on Christianity. That's what they said. Christianity became legal, and all the other stuff became illegal. So they could control all the land that they were now conquering. They had Egyptian gods, Greek gods, local tribal gods during this time, right? They had sun worship, Sol Invictus. They had Persian influence. They had so much. So they said we have to do monotheism. We have one God for Christianity. But during Constantine's time, it was still so many beliefs at that time, and it wasn't on a religion at that time. So that's why he said we are legalizing Christianity. Please hear me when I say this. And when he legalized Christianity, they didn't have a Bible. They had to make the Bible up. Constantine said because he wanted to have a doctrine that went all over the world. No, it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I was thinking when I was reading. Like, I think like, you guys really don't know why it was illegal to read. Because once you start reading, you start opening up Pandora's box. Like, what? And I'll tell y'all something. After the genealogy research that I did, the first thing that I read was I had to find Christopher Columbus journal. You are a reader. Go find Christopher Columbus journal. If you want me to send it to you in the inbox. But go read And you, by the time you get to the part where he actually finds the land, you know, shocked at how he talk about man, how he talk about people he loves, how he was acting like he know what the people were saying, how he was trafficking the people, taking them, putting them on the boat, leaving with them. They had to jump off the boat. It's like you watching a movie when you read it. How he was talking about them, where's the chief, where's the goal? Oh, we're gonna come back with our arms. They got so many fruit. He was just like, and I had never seen so much evil on a paper from someone who they told me discovered America. It seemed like when he discovered the land's full of people, full of different fruit. And he said every type of fruit he put in his name. He said, I wish I knew the names of this stuff. So he just started naming things from over there. Naming islands between Isabella, Ferdinand. This is what he was doing, right? This is what Christopher Columbus was doing. But before then, Christianity had to be legalized, talking about the women. Yes, yes. He was so equal. And that immediately from the genealogy to reading that as one of my first things that kind of like, because I had to prove it to myself. I still didn't believe it. I was like, nah, I got to find out what Christopher Columbus did. It's just like it just keep going. Once you open the one book, you find four books. This, book, that book. It's just everywhere. So the easiest thing for them to tell you is that hey, they have getting knowledge. As long as I can keep y'all banned from getting knowledge, distracted, stroll dooming, as long as I keep the kids in school, you're going to work, we raising the price. They say, hey, we gotta start a war. We don't raise these prices. These American Indians, these Niji, these indigenous people, autonomous people, the carbon on melon, whatever one you want to call it, you were here first. They find out who they are. We gotta distract them. We gotta shut them up. We gotta we gotta just distract them. We gotta make them work harder. Take the price, but they do that power to distract you from your greatness. Everything in their power. We over here before Constantine legalized Christianity, we had our own nature-based spiritual system that they completely erased. That's why we're so out of tune with nature right now. We don't get around it. We don't go outside in the sun. We're not getting the proper sunlight. Our skin is made for this. This is our defense system. It's meant to be outside. Otherwise, why would you need melanin as a defense system? It is not meant for you to be outside passing this. I don't know how we go in the sun. You know, that's our best friend. They had to erase that. Put you in jail, put you in church, make you work, make you focus on everything but whatever we had back then. I'm still, I just know that we have a creator, but whoever the creator is for Christopher Columbus, that ain't my creator. I don't know what y'all on, but y'all feel like y'all can tell somebody to look and see the land of nine Christian princes and all this stuff, call them chattel property. I ain't on that. Even Trump now, you see his rant every day. I said his name again. Watch like no, please. He said we glow. Period. We glow. You gotta let them know. You gotta let them know that we glow. Listen, I just got inspiration. You gotta let them know that we glow. Yeah, we glow, guys. I just love that we just glow like we just match the world energy naturally, organically. You so organic. You so organic. Ain't nothing better than you. Ain't nothing better. You know? I'm about to create this song real quick called We Glow. We glow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we glow, guys, and we gotta let them know. They don't want you to glow. They don't even want you to know. They just don't. They just they want you to be locked into a box. So we're gonna make a song to document this time because we glow, guys. Like what? Here it is. We glow. Yeah, you better let them know. Hey, we glow. Yeah, you better let them know. We glow. Let them know. Got that glow. Better let them know. Hey, glow. Let them know. Let them know. Hey, hey, hey. People better let them know. Better let them know. 'Cause they play around with us and they know who you are. Just don't know who you are. You gotta let them know. And we go. When we get out in the sun, we go. And all the way show. We the ones. Hey, hey, we go. We go. Gotta let them know. Hey, late night DJ Sunflower. Hey. I'm just making a song right now. A quick little song from my little playlist. And, coming up with our little hit right quick. Let's see what we came up with. Let's see this one use. Okay, y'all can hear that? Turn it up. Ooh. Let them know. Hey, let them know, Peacock Kitty. Hey, don't hide. No, no, no. I like that now. That's gonna be a part of our playlist. So Tea Time Beauty, hey, that's another anthem. That's what we added to our little mix right there now. I like that. We hey. Okay. See, something productive came out of this night. We got a great conversation going. We talked a little bit about history, a little bit about what's going on currently with all this war stuff. That was so cool, right? Listen, I love Suno. You can just think of an idea. It's like, oh, that would be perfect. Yes, better let them know. What? 7K hearts. Yay! Thank you for the hearts, guys. Thank you, Tea Time Beauty. I know that was a lot of you just tapping away. I really appreciate it. I feel so much better coming to hang with the tribe. Like, what? I better get my butt off of here. I think can I ask you a dental question? Definitely. Hey, that's what I'm here for. You the first question of the night, actually. Yay! Ask away. Ask away. I could definitely answer any dental questions. It actually excites me to talk about teeth. If you don't want to put it here, you can always inbox it too, but let me know. So yeah, so it says I had a temporary crown, but it broke off. Can I go without it for a week? Well, if you are a patient in my office and your temporary came off, I would prefer. Now, I'm not the dentist who's done the crown. I'm not sure what their instructions were, but in my office, and normally we try to get the temporary back on. Because if you go for a week, the teeth move at micro millimeters. So sometimes your crown can come back and it may not fit because the teeth have moved a little bit. Now, an experienced dentist can still probably get it to fit. And every time the teeth don't move, but we like to keep that space there just so the crown goes on perfectly. Because if not, it goes in a little bit and maybe tight. Of course, they can use the burr, drill it out, use some food paper, see where it's too tight and drill it out. But it is a risk. And you also risk damaging your prep. If you're eating, you might crack it. I don't know how strong the prep is. I'm not sure if they had to do a buildup. But a lot of times it can damage the prep. So if you can get back for like a week, you just have to be very gentle and just know that the crown may not fit and it may be, just a little bit more work when you go back to have it on. So I would recommend whoever is doing your case to give them a call and let them know that you're temporarily taking off. And see if they can just get you back in and put it back on. Unless it's just hard. And I've had people who went without it and it just makes it harder to put it on. Sometimes. And sometimes it's like the person's bone doesn't move and it goes on. So just be gentle, let the business know, and try to get it put back on. I hope that that's a very, very good question. And thank you for that. But yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a wrap. I've been live twice tonight because I was feeling a little, I don't know. So now I feel so much better. I think I can go to sleep. A great question, Destiny. Yeah, we got one question for tonight. uh-huh. Anytime I'm live, y'all don't interrupt me talking about anything. You can feel free to ask me about teeth. Yeah, it just keeps me on my toes. Just helps me put my dental degree to use with people around the world. It's like having access to a doctor. Most people are following. Get my permanent crown on in a week. I hate having to pay it again to get the temporary crown on. I mean, you shouldn't have to pay for another temporary. I mean, if you do, then that doctor might be kind of like nickel and diamond. But thank you for your company. You are welcome. No, thank you for your company. Yeah, I hope you wouldn't have to pay again for them to do your temporary. I'm heading to bed. Yeah, me too. I'm heading to bed too. Yeah, I hope you won't have to pay for them to do your temporary. Good night, guys. Good night, Tea Time Beauty. Thank you so much. I will see you in one of the next lives. Thank you for being my number one heart pumper. Let's see how many we got. 7K. Yes. We hit our goal of 1K. I love it. I love it. I love it. But yeah, great question. If you are getting your crown on next week, like I said, wait, they're charging you, but just be very just don't eat on it, just be gentle. And know that your crown may not fit. And at least let them know that it came off. Maybe they don't charge. I don't charge for people who come in for a temporary redo. I don't charge because I've already charged for the crowns. So why would I charge you with 3%? You know? So, but every dentist is different at the end of the day. All right. I got to get off of here myself. So I will holler at y'all later. Later, later, alligator. Bye. Bye, guys.